People love to overcomplicate healthy eating, but honestly,
stop
listening to these people. You do not need to fast, you do not need to cut out sugar, and you also do not need to be afraid of bananas. As a licensed nutritionist, I know about healthy eating, and I know how food can affect your mood, energy levels, and general well-being. So in order for you to follow along and not get like overwhelmed, you're going to focus on these 5 chapters in this video. The main thing when it comes to healthy eating, and where you can always start, is to focus on your gut health. Because your gut bacteria, the bacteria in your gut microbiome, is literally the center of your health. The quality of your gut bacteria literally affects everything in your body. Your hormone health, your brain health, your overall well-being, your mental health. It affects even anxiety levels and depression levels. When we eat something, when we have a meal, we always also want to think about feeding our bacteria. There's a lot of information out there relating to gut health, and it can get a little bit complicated, but I'm going to break this down into really 5 core areas that you need to focus on when it comes to eating for your gut. The first thing is fiber. Okay, this is one of the most important things to include in your diet. Especially in the Western diet, it is highly likely that you're completely under eating fiber. I already eat a lot of veggies, and I tracked my fiber intake with my MyFitnessPal for a while, and I did not get enough fiber. So what we want to aim for is around 30 grams of fiber per day, and I barely got even like 20, and I eat a lot of veggies. Everything that is really a plant also has fiber. Fiber is important because your friendly gut bacteria, your health promoting and slimming gut bacteria that you want to cultivate in your gut, that you want to increase, they love fiber. Okay, this is their food source. If you don't eat a lot of fiber, you're going to starve your good bacteria. If it's really hard for you to eat a lot of veggies and get your fiber intake, start eating acacia fiber. I have a powder that I just put into my muesli. Make sure to don't overdo it or you get really bloated, because it is super high in fiber. Okay, so start off with like a little teaspoon in your yogurt or in your smoothie. Make sure if you add acacia fiber that you also drink a lot of water. So after fiber, the next core thing when it comes to gut health is fermented foods. Fermented foods are really high in probiotics. Probiotics are actually live bacterial culture that when you eat them help to cultivate your gut with more friendly bacteria. But the thing is that probiotics often die in the stomach acid. So if you have fermented food every day in little quantities, that means you will increase your chances of having live bacteria still entering your gut and surviving the stomach acid. I would always recommend to get your probiotics first through food sources instead of supplements. What are good fermented foods that you want to start eating this year? The first thing is sauerkraut. Sauerkraut is amazing. There are so many different kinds of sauerkraut. I currently have this red cabbage sauerkraut that has like some blueberry in it, and it's like super nice. And I just always have like a little bit with my lunch, for example, with my sandwich or with my salad. You don't need a lot. You don't need like huge quantities. You just need a little bit here and there. The next thing is kimchi. Kimchi is a little bit spicy. It's like a Korean sort of sauerkraut variation, and it's super tasty. It's a great addition for like Asian cooking when you do something like that, like maybe stir fries, and just add a little bit of kimchi. Just try it. And one of my favorites that I literally eat every day is kefir. Kefir is a fermented dairy product. If you don't eat dairy, obviously you will not be able to eat it. But if you eat dairy, it's so good. And I just mix it with my Greek yogurt and some protein powder, and it's just like mwah. Number 3, when it comes to gut health and what you want to focus on, are polyphenols. And there we're going to talk about blueberries. Every morning I put them in my bowl and I use frozen blueberries. You get like more quantity for your money because berries are expensive. Also, the benefit of frozen berries is they get shock frozen right after harvest, and they don't lose a lot of vitamins by just sitting in the supermarket out in the lights, you know. That's when like vitamins get lost. A rule of thumb is frozen veggies, frozen fruit are normally higher in vitamins. So polyphenols are plant compounds that are high in antioxidant properties. And also your good gut bacteria thrives on polyphenols. They just love it. The next thing you want to focus on are resistant starches. Okay, resistant starches is also a food source for your friendly gut bacteria that they love. And as the name already suggests, resistant starches are in starches and carbohydrates. For example, if you cook potatoes and you let them cool down and then you eat them the next day, they have increased in resistant starch. Overnight oats, you leave them overnight in the fridge and eat them the next day, they will be higher in resistant starch. If you cook pasta or rice and eat it the next day, it will be higher in resistant starch. And the last thing when it comes to gut health, what you want to focus on is diversity. So we want to aim for 30 plants per week, and don't be
like, oh my god, I cannot eat 30 different veggies or 30 different fruits.
You don't have to do that. What also counts as plants is, for example, different spices that you can use, different herbs herbs, nuts, seeds, different grains. Go out on the market or in a supermarket and try something new that you haven't tried before. The next chapter is protein. I can probably assure you, if you're a woman watching this, you're going to undereat protein. Just start to have protein sources in every meal. One of my favorite things is just Greek yogurt. Like, Greek yogurt is high in protein, it's satiating, it's just a really great way to have a breakfast or a snack or a dessert. It's just perfect. The next thing is, if you do eat animal protein, then organic eggs. Eggs are a complete protein. Animal protein, especially eggs, have all amino acids that your body needs. So if you're a vegan, for example, and you eat plants and you only eat plant protein, you need to mix different plants to create a complete protein, and it can be a little bit more difficult. It's not impossible. There are lots of people who are vegan and who don't have any protein deficiencies, but it just will need a little bit more work. The next protein, this is a vegan protein, and that is tempeh. It is fermented soybeans. You can also get tempeh with fermented beans or fermented chickpeas. I've seen all kinds of different tempehs. The next thing is tofu. I used to hate tofu. It was like, the key to tofu is it cannot be wobbly. And the secret to making crispy tofu is using cornmeal. You need to cut the tofu and then mix it in with cornmeal and then put it in the oven. If you're currently like,
ugh, no, I don't want to eat tofu,
please try it. It's one of the 24 foods to try this year. The next thing is lentils. Lentils are also a vegan protein. Filling, they're versatile, they go into salads, they go into curries. If you are not vegan, then you want to mix animal protein with plant protein. We don't just want to have animal protein. I have great recipes what you can do with lentils. I can make also wrap with lentils and just have really high protein wraps. My lentil wrap is literally one ingredient. The next thing is lupine. That's also a vegan protein. It's a plant. I buy lupine flour and I use this in everything. I use this in my pancakes, I use this in baking. Again, I have a recipe for lupine pancakes, and it's just like a flour alternative that is really, really high in protein. Now we're coming to healthy fats. I used to be really scared of fat. I used to be really
like, oh my god, fat is gonna make me fat.
Yes, fat is high in calories. You really still need to be mindful of quantities when it comes to fat. A little bit of fat goes a long way. Olive oil. I actually bake with olive oil. I don't really use butter. I just put it in cakes. Extra virgin oil you can also cook with on high temperatures. You can bake with. The next thing is nuts and seeds, especially almonds and walnuts. Walnuts are really high in omega-3. Almonds are really high in fiber. And these two nuts are great, and I would start to implement them. The next thing is chia seeds and flax seeds. Flax seeds are also high in omega-3, and they're just also high in fiber. So it's really great to just like throw them over your muesli or your porridge. And chia seeds, I love to make chia pudding. They are healthy fats, but they're also super high in fiber. And they're just a great dessert. They're just a great breakfast. I have lots of chia pudding recipes on my Instagram. Fatty fish like salmon. Organic salmon. Have it once a week. It's a treat. Fatty fish, if it's like well sourced, is a great way to get your omega-3 fatty acids in, which are super important for your brain health, for your energy, for your general well-being. If you don't eat fish or you don't like fish, then at least make sure you supplement omega-3 with a quality supplement. The next thing is tahini. I bake with it. I have a great recipe for tahini brownies on my Instagram. I put it over my porridge. I put it in salad dressing. I spread it on toast with banana. I live for tahini. Avocado, I cannot not mention it. It is such a good healthy fat. Who doesn't like to make guacamole? What's wrong with people who do not like avocado? The next chapter is nourishing carbs. Please do not be afraid of carbohydrates. I used to be a carb phobic. I was someone who did not eat carbohydrates or was really scared of eating carbohydrates. Please, carbs are so good for you. They give you energy, especially now since I'm into running. I realize how much energy my body needs, and I love to fuel up with like healthy carbs before I go on a run. There's a difference in quality when it comes to carbs. White flour and really like refined carbohydrates are not as nourishing compared to other more nourishing carbohydrates. It doesn't mean we can never have them. That just means they not really do anything for our gut. Obviously have refined carbohydrates, but I would just have them as treats and not as like a staple in your diet. So the first nourishing carb that I love are potatoes. As I said, diversity is important, so try different potatoes. Or if you cook potatoes or if you boil potatoes and you leave them out for 24 hours, they will increase in resistant starch and will even be better for your gut health. The next thing is oats, and there's a lot of people now out there who are like, oh my god, oats are terrible, oats are the devil. Please do not listen to that. Please make sure to incorporate them into your diet if you enjoy oats. Speaking of oats, think about other whole grains. You always want to think about diversity. Always go back to our 5 core elements of eating for a healthy gut. Mix up your grains. Try maybe some buckwheat, try some amaranth, try some millet, things that you haven't actually tried before. Sourdough bread, so good. Don't be scared of bread, but there are also differences in qualities when it comes to bread. Wholemeal bread is obviously better than just white bread. There are really no like nourishing components for your body. It's basically just sugar. Whole grains obviously has a bit more fiber. The whole grain bread in a supermarket is not the best. There's long shelf life, there's additives to it. What I would really recommend if you love bread, start eating sourdough, like good sourdough, like go to like a nice bakery. I'm also making my own sourdough bread. I have a sourdough starter. It's a little bit of like a, you know, you have to get used to it. You have to like practice. It's not super easy. It honestly feels so good when you're able to make your own bread. Chickpeas and beans. Chickpeas are just amazing. I love to make hummus. I love to also make bean hummus, red bean hummus, so good. They're great for snacks, but they're also like you can roast them in the oven. I actually have a recipe on my Instagram for like different chickpeas recipes, also like a sweet recipe. And now the last category, sweets. And when it comes to sweets, I'm gonna share like my top that I always love to use and that I make a lot of different recipes with. First thing are dates. Dates are really great, healthier sweet. Really great for making caramel. Really great for making different desserts with it. Down below I linked like a lot of different recipes that you can look at. Next thing is banana. People who say don't eat bananas, can you please unfollow these people? Such a great dessert food. First of all, the best snack in the world is like banana with like nut butter or tahini. Banana chocolate, I mean, dream combo. You can like freeze bananas and then you can create an ice cream with bananas. The next thing is cocoa powder. Cocoa powder itself is not really sweet, but I love making desserts with it. It's high in polyphenols, it's actually really healthy. You can make your own chocolate. I used to make my own chocolate with just cocoa butter, cocoa, and some like maple syrup or something. But you can make chocolate porridge with it. Here again is a list of all 24 foods that you need to start eating this year. Don't try to incorporate everything at once. Maybe pick one from each category and think about the 5 core focuses for your gut health. I put them here again. Have moderation. Don't go perfectionistic or extreme. You don't need to like stop eating things that you enjoy. Just have them in moderation, have them as a treat, and look forward to them. And then have a great healthy year, and make sure to check out the recipes on my Instagram. I speak to you soon. Bye!